Watch, it's gonna stop in like 10 seconds.
To keep it concise.
You know, because you know, that's one of my strong suits, is being quick and concise with my reviews. Should have contoured my forehead. Hello, it's me, Jake, and welcome to my channel. There hasn't been anything on this channel in a long time. But you know what? I'm coming back. Maybe, I don't know. Today, as a welcome back to my channel, I'm gonna do a review of something very near and dear to my heart. I am going to do a review of Hamilton! Not just of Hamilton the show. I mean, there's plenty of reviews out there of the show, and if you follow me on social media, you probably know what my feelings about Hamilton are. I love it so much. I'm going to be doing a review of Hamilton, the national tour, which I just got to see on October 25th at the Pantages Theater in Hollywood, here in Los Angeles. Hollywood Pantages Theater, Los Angeles, California. Technically everything I said was correct. I have really loved Hamilton pretty much since it came out. I'm a big fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda's. I was a huge fan of In the Heights. I actually got to see In the Heights on Broadway with the original Broadway cast. Yes, I got to see Lin and Chris Jackson and Mandy Gonzalez and Karen Olivo and Robin DeJesus and just so many wonderful people. And so I've just been a big fan of Lin and his stuff ever since then. So I've really been wanting to see Hamilton, but I didn't think I was going to get to see it because tickets are like super expensive or sold out or what have you. But a friend of mine texted me on the 24th and was like, hey, can you be free tomorrow after 4? And I was like, probably, why? And she was like, because we're going to go see Hamilton. And I cried. Jared.
What?
Didn't I weep?
You wept?
Thank you. I tried to be as impartial as I could be and not sit there with the original Broadway soundtrack just playing in the back of my head. I tried to just let the performances be what they were and not compare. And to that end, there were only 2 places where I did miss the original performers on the original Broadway cast album. And we'll get to those people when we get to them. As far as I know, the national tour is a direct copy of the original Broadway production as far as sets and lighting and orchestrations and costumes go. So let's talk about it. That's my cat. He has a jester costume on. I got one of these in my playbill. If you go to theater, if you know theater, you know that this means that there will be some understudies and roles. So currently headlining the national tour, if you go on the website, is Michael Luoye as Alexander Hamilton and Joshua Henry as Aaron Burr. I really hope I pronounced Luoye right. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but neither of them were in the night that I saw the show. It was, I actually saw Ryan Alvarado as Alexander Hamilton and Ryan Vasquez as Aaron Burr. And I'll get to them, I'll save them for last. The ensemble was absolutely amazing. They were so so dynamic. The voices were so beautiful. The dancing was fantastic. I mean, I was beside myself. It was so cool to watch. I'm gonna use the playbill to read names because I can't memorize names. Don't ask me to do these things. Everybody was so good in all of their roles. This video would go on even longer than it already is if I stopped and individually praised every single person, but everybody was fantastic. Jordan Donica played Lafayette and Jefferson, and he was amazing. He was also the tallest cast member in the show, which was really funny, especially next to Ryan Alvarado as Hamilton, because he was a very short Hamilton, so the size difference between them in the cabinet battles gave this whole new spin to it, which was fantastic. But Jordan Donica was so good. I'm a huge fan of Daveed Diggs. I love him so much. But Jordan Donica did an amazing job. Jefferson is one of my favorite parts in the show. Lafayette as well, but the Jefferson side of things especially. And Jordan Donica was superb in that role. I absolutely loved him. Isaiah Johnson played George Washington, and he had a beautiful voice. I could not understand everything he said during the rapping, and he did a accent, or he has an accent that I didn't totally understand. I don't know if it was for the character or if it's just a natural accent he had. It wasn't bad, it was just very different to hear. And unfortunately, this was one of the only times where like I did miss Chris Jackson on the CD, because you know, Chris Jackson is just crystal clear with his diction and he's such a smooth voice, and I couldn't understand everything Isaiah Johnson said, but at the same time, his voice was so amazing. Like, if I wasn't 100% sold on him as Washington, by the time we got to One Last Time, he took it home, he won it for me, and that was really cool. Emmy Raver Lampton played Angelica Schuyler, and she actually was in the original Broadway cast of Hamilton. She was amazing as Angelica. I'm a huge fan of Renee Elise Goldberry. I've loved her since she was in Rent as Mimi in the filmed final production. But Emmy was a fantastic Angelica. What I really appreciated about her was her inflections and her characterization choices that really stood out and kind of gave a fresh take on Angelica, for me at least, because I am so used to hearing Renee on the original CD. So to hear somebody go different directions with things was really, really cool, and she was so sassy. I loved her as Angelica maybe like 7-8 measures into Schuyler Sisters. She had me sold. She destroyed me with Satisfied and then destroyed me again with It's Quiet Uptown. Absolutely brilliant. Thalia Pfeiffer played Eliza Hamilton. I'm a really big fan of Philippa Sue on the CD, but I did not find myself missing her because Thalia was just so wonderful as Eliza. She had such a beautiful, light voice, and she sounded so beautiful when she was singing. Her riffs during Helpless were so good, and that's not one of my favorite songs. I usually skip it when I'm listening to the album, but I would gladly listen to her version of Helpless a million times. It was fantastic. Not to diss Philippa, oh god, the Hamill fans are gonna come kill me. She also really surprised me with Burn because, you know, she had this very sweet, gentle sound the whole show, and then she just let the emotions out with Burn, and it was so raw, and it was so just full of hurt that I was clutching my pearls. I was moved by it. King George, I need to stop saying King George was played by Rory OMalley. Rory OMalley, who was in Book of Mormon, who's been doing King George on Broadway for a while. He was so fantastic. He was so funny. He was a really fun King George. This brings us to our two main characters, Burr and Hamilton. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I had the understudy Burr and Hamilton for the night. And before I continue, here's my disclaimer. I realized the more I listen to Hamilton and think about the show, and especially reading the Hamilton, you know, the big libretto book, the making, all that, like just reading Hamilton on paper, he is not my favorite character in the show. My favorite character is probably Eliza. It would be Eliza, Angelica, Burr, Jefferson. So for me, I don't know if it's just that I'm so used to Lynn in the role, or I just haven't experienced enough other people as Hamilton. As a disclaimer, not that I condone bootlegs, I have heard audio of Javier Munoz as Hamilton and John Rua as Hamilton, so I do have like point of reference for how other people do it other than Lynn, but since I don't like the character to begin with, you really gotta sell me on Hamilton to make me enjoy him as a character in the show. That being said, Ryan Alvarado did a very good job as Hamilton. His diction was impeccable. I understood every single word he said. He spoke everything very clearly. He is the understudy, so like I know he doesn't have as much time in the role as someone who's there doing it 5-6 times a week. So maybe it's just a matter of having more time to get those little nuances and those little things that really, you know, bring a character to life. Not that he did bad. I don't want to say he did bad. It just, he was the only other time that I had Lynn playing in the background, which isn't fair, but also, you know, it's Lynn in the show he wrote, in the character he wrote, you know, it's hard. So, but Ryan Alvarado did do a great job. You know, if you see the show and you do get Ryan Alvarado, don't be upset. He was very, very good. And I would love to see him again, maybe like in a couple months, like when he's had even more time in it. Because I feel like he could really bring a lot more to the role. Last but certainly not least was actually probably my favorite performer for the evening, and that was Ryan Vasquez as Aaron Burr. Ryan Vasquez is listed as Ensemble in the playbill, and he was fantastic. He did such an amazing job as Burr. He had a beautiful voice. I mean, he was probably the highlight of the night for me, which is saying something because I was very much looking forward to hearing Joshua Henry in the role because I've seen videos of him on YouTube in other roles and doing other stuff, and I really wanted to see Joshua Henry. But Ryan Vasquez kind of stole the show for me, which, you know, is not hard to do as Burr, I guess, since Burr is in like 80% of the show. But, you know, to come in as Aaron Burr, the man who shot Hamilton, in Hamilton the musical, and steal the show, I guess that is a pretty big accomplishment. He was so different than what I'm used to in hearing Burr on the CD. He brought so many different dynamics to the rapping, to the dialogue, it's all rapping, and his inflection was so different and unique, and there was something really fun about him, especially in the first half of the show, when he was supposed to be a younger, you know, less burdened Aaron Burr. And then, again, his singing was just so good. The end of Wait For It, he just did this complete alternate high line in the song at the end that was amazing, the high notes he was hitting. And he really carried the show, and he was so charismatic, and he was the understudy, for crying out loud. Also, I'm just going to look at the playbill here. I keep glancing at it, because I'm going to tell you all the roles that he does understudy. He understudies Hamilton, he understudies Burr, he understudies Washington. This guy knows like almost every major male role in the show, and to go into Burr and do such an amazing job with it, like if you hadn't told me he was the understudy, I wouldn't have known. He was so good. So yeah, so that's my review of Hamilton National Tour while it's here in Los Angeles. I think it runs through sometime early to mid-December. So if you have a chance to get a ticket, I think you totally should. I mean, you definitely should. It was amazing. I would be seeing it every night if I was a millionaire. But just because you're not a millionaire doesn't mean you don't have a chance to win the show. I found out something really cool at the show. They have an app. Hamilton has an official app, and I have it on my phone. And you can enter on the app to into the lottery to win $10 tickets to the show, which is really cool. You can just do that from your phone, and it notifies you like, hey, you did it, congratulations, or you know, you're gonna have to wait for it. So if you guys are wanting to go see Hamilton but you don't have tickets or you can't afford the full price tickets, definitely try entering the lottery. I'm not being paid to plug the app or to plug the lottery or the show. This is just my opinion, and I just love Hamilton, and I think you should. You can also like buy merchandise on the app too, which is cool. I didn't buy any merchandise when I saw the show. My friend did get me this. It is a cup they were selling. You could buy like a water, juice, soda, or tea, and it came in this fun little plastic Hamilton cup. You can't see it because I have soda in here, but it has Hamilton doing the thing. That's cute. But yeah, the app also has stickers that you can put in conversations, and it's a really cool app. So like, I mean, I feel like I want to start adding like a new cool app thing into my videos. So there you go. Yeah. Hamilton, Los Angeles. It was awesome. I recommend it. I mean, if you're a fan of the show, how could you not love it? Even if you're worried about, you know, that, but I'm gonna go and I'm only gonna hear the original Broadway cast in the back of my head. How can anything ever compare? First of all, you need to have an open mind. Other people are gonna play these roles, so you need to like get over it. But secondly, I kind of understand because I did have those moments myself. But third of all, these performers are all fantastic. They did an amazing job. They are carrying on the legacy of the show very well. Legacy is a buzzword in the show. And it was fantastic, and it was a dream come true to get to go see this show. So, now that I've crossed that off my list, I don't have much else to go out for now. So, it's fine. Yeah, thanks you guys so much for watching, and hit like, hit subscribe, like all those things that they say at the end of the videos. I don't know, I'm not that invested. If you want, I have other videos you can go watch. You can find me on all the social medias, that's all down below. And I'm going to try to start uploading things more. So, keep an eye out on this channel and we'll see what happens. Bye guys! Get out! I'm trying to talk about my Hamiltons. It's Halloween, Halloween George. It's Halloween today, by the way. God, my hair looks like a mop. Why didn't you tell me?
It always looks like that.
Well,